Taylor with Charles Whitfield, and he is the Executive Director of Galaxy Resources. And again, another hot sector right now. We're talking about lithium and all its great applications. Give us an overview of the company, Charles, and where you stand in that arena.
Sure. Well, the company is a pure play lithium company, so that differentiates us from some of the incumbents, especially the big South American brine producers who only derive a small proportion of their revenue stream from lithium. We're also very much focused on battery grade lithium, and it is actually a segmented market, so the grade of lithium, the purity of lithium that you're providing will determine whether you can sell into the battery market or purely to the other applications like ceramics and glass. So if you're interested in the electrification of transport and the other applications of lithium batteries in laptops and iPads and so on and so forth, then we are very much focused on the battery space, so we're a relatively good play on that.
Well, you've differentiated yourself in that explanation from other lithium suppliers.
Yeah.
Where does that put you in the market? I mean, is it a small market, a few to choose from, and you're one of those few?
In terms of companies in that space, it is a relatively small market. What you're seeing is a number of junior development companies, especially with South American assets, but they're pre-production companies. We are actually now in production. We are ramping up to produce 17,000 tons of battery-grade lithium carbonate. Most of that's going into the Asian market, about a third to Japan and 2/3 to China. So we are actually a production company as opposed to a development or a exploration company.
What do you think the most important dynamics are regarding the lithium industry? Different perspective maybe from you.
Well, I think there's supply side dynamics and demand side dynamics. I think that a lot of people are purely focused on the electric vehicle story, but I think that there are actually a lot of other components driving demand. I mean, again, looking at China, for example, there are 30 million electric bikes a year produced in China, about 270 million on the streets currently, and that has huge potential demand for lithium batteries. Obviously, you know, the growth in things like iPads are growing demand for lithium, and also hybrids. Hybrids had been powered by nickel metal hydride batteries. They are now switching over almost solely to lithium batteries, so there's a real market right there.
We always hear about supply and demand when it comes to oil, how far it's got to go.
Yeah.
Social Security running out in 2032, Medicare in 2050.
Yeah.
Where's lithium going to be in 5 years?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I think that there's a lot of noise out there about supply and demand imbalance. As far as we're concerned, our biggest concern is actually lack of supply, not oversupply, because being a growth market, we actually want to make sure that there's enough supply to satiate that growth. Otherwise, people will substitute away into other areas. But you know, as ever, projects are always harder to get online and take more time, so we actually think that the demand is going to outstrip supply, even in the sort of 2 to 3 year time frame.
Your impressions of this HiAlpha Energy Investment Conference?
I think it's been a good forum. There's a good representation of lithium companies here, especially in the sort of more junior space. So I think there's been fairly animated conversation amongst them in terms of the market dynamics.